Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Art and welcome to this week. First thing is X-Men Heir to Apocalypse #2 variant cover. I like this cover better. King Spawn 35, Scorch 30, Spawn 354. Deadpool Wolverine, World War III Wolverine, Deadpool Wolverine World War III, no, number one, second printing. Could not, this sold out the first time in all the stores I go to, so I finally got the second printing. Okay. Thanos Annual #1, variant edition, like this one better. Got that red coat, #3. Another Destro #1. Gunslinger Spawn 32 and G.I. Joe 307. Found this Whiplash, one of my favorite Iron Man villains. Of course, if you saw Iron Man 2, Mickey Ward was a good character, but that Whiplash is kind of like hokey. But this is cool. And mail call for this Snow Job. Finally got this. Took me a while. It's a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, and came down a little bit in price, so I finally picked that up. Well, this is June, the end of June, and this is the end of Pride Month. Now, I don't really pay attention to Pride Month because that's not a month for me. The reason why is because I'm not a Pride person. So we'll just call it Pride People so that way YouTube don't X me out. You know, a lot of people was talking about this is the worst month of the year because of Pride. It's a celebration of who Pride people are. And the way I look at it is like, why would you care? It doesn't affect you anymore. But I see it everywhere. I see this everywhere. Pride this, pride that. Well, and I said, well. And then what happened is, these are the same people who say, I have no problem against pride people. I just don't want it in front of me. Which kind of tells me low key, you have a problem with pride people. Now, personally, I have no problems against pride people, and I don't care if it's in front of me or not. Believe me, I knew a lot of pride people in my day, and some people who became pride people, I never would have noticed. Okay. Of course, what happened is, I said to people like this. Some people say, well, veterans get a day. Well, that's a national holiday. Pride is no holiday. It's just a month celebration of who pride people are. Well, I said, well, think about this. If you wouldn't have discriminated against them, if you would not discriminate against pride people, they wouldn't need a month to celebrate it. Let me repeat that. If you never discriminated, people in general, if you discriminate against pride people, then that's one of the reasons why this month exists. If you didn't discriminate against pride people, you wouldn't need a pride month. You wouldn't need it, in my opinion. Of course, when I say that, it falls on deaf ears. Well, that's the way how I look at it. But hey, you can't tell people how to live their life. Now, of course, in some areas, when there's some kind of cultural revolution, sometimes a bunch of wackos get a hold of it and they technically subvert it and take over. And I'm like, okay, and I was like, okay, and I will agree to some people. Well, they have half naked people. I kind of agree. I kind of agree with that. You shouldn't have that around children, of course. Well, yeah, what about the pride readings in the library? Parents have a right to dictate what happens to their child. Problem is that a lot of times the idea of pride is to inform people, especially young kids, of what they are, so they don't be when they won't put you guys, when they won't put parents on the spot. So I said to a friend of mine, imagine your child saw a pride person and they asked why they do that. What was your answer going to be? And technically they have no answer for it, because the idea is you want to say I determine when, but guess what? In these days, you can't just determine when certain things happen. I mean, sometimes we have things that happen bad at school. Let's just put it that way. These kids wasn't prepared for that. So how are you going to prepare for that? You can't. But it's just me rambling. I don't discriminate against pride people in general. Why? Because that doesn't make sense. If you look at what I look like, I was discriminated against. Did I like that? Hell no. So why should I discriminate against somebody else? Now, some people might say, well, how old are you guys? I'll say, look, hold on a second. Let's peel it back. I'm in my early 50s. That puts me born in the early 70s. Early 70s. Now, think about what happened. Now, mid to late 60s was the civil rights movement. Before that was segregation. 60 years ago, okay? And throughout this time, people shunned pride people, okay? As people shunned them. People harassed them and all sorts of stuff. And people never understood the reason why I said, well, just leave those people alone. They ain't doing shit. They ain't doing stuff to you. Just leave them alone. Let them exist. And they never understood why I say that, because I was discriminated against. I didn't like it when I saw it, and I had to play like I didn't. I had to play around like it didn't even bother me. So imagine you doing that to them. But anyway, I kind of wanted to mention that a little bit. I'm not preaching at people. It's just my thoughts about it. If you want to think I'm preaching, that's how you come up. That's how your interpretation. Personally, I'm the kind of person that's like, I don't care if they're a pride person or they're not a pride person. I don't care. I'm gonna treat them like I treat my fellow person, my fellow friends, and as long as you're not a jackass, or if you don't act like a if you act like a jackass, then I have some kind of discrimination. Won't like you as much. Let's just put it that way. Well, anyway, that's my thoughts, and hopefully you had a good week, and talk to you soon.